Hi, welcome back. What I want to do first is go over the hands-on, and I'm just going to do it on the overhead camera because we got stuff to do here. Can I zoom in? Just zoom in right on that floor plan right there, that top one, and that'll do. Thank you very much. All right, so here's your floor plan, right? Now we know from the description in the handout that this is 210 feet wide. And as all good scientists do, I'm sure you're using your metric ruler. You guys got one, right? So the building here, that's about 10 centimeters. And so we're going to note here, what do we got? 210, a little over 9 centimeters. Let's just eyeball it to say 1 centimeter equals 10 feet. Right? Now the other thing we need to know is how long. Remember, we get 90 meters, and that turns out to be about 295 feet, and we'll just eyeball that to be about 300 feet is what we get. So what we want to do is, in our building, what we would like to do is just have one room be our closet, because what we need to do is have it so that at a right angle, I'm just going to start, let's start from this point here. Let's say that's a nice point as a candidate for the place where all of the wires are going to go. So if you're thinking ahead, this is where our switch is going to be put. And then what I need to do is measure from this point to the furthest room away. Cables always go at 90-degree angles, or we just assume they do, because normally in a building you wouldn't be able to run a cable. They're going to go through the ceiling and you wouldn't be able to run it along that direction. You know, there's this hallway here, various other things in the way. Right? In fact, if you actually went into Constant Hall, I believe this is open, this hallway, and so this cable would actually come down here, but I don't really mind that. As long as we go at right angles, we'll have the distance right, right? So there's my right angle, and I believe that's the furthest distance. Let's measure over here. That's going to be what, 3.5 centimeters. That's a total of 8 there. That's 3.5. Much less. That's going to be about 6. It gives me 10.5, 6. Oh, actually that's the furthest distance. So this is my furthest distance. All right. So this distance here, I measure the total amount. So I've got 6 centimeters here. You all can see that barely, but that's 6 centimeters there. And I've got 4 and a little bit. So I'm just a little over 10 centimeters here. If I go 1 centimeter equals 10 feet, 10 times 10.5 is what? So this total distance, let's see, that's 10.5. That's going to be 105 feet. And that's going to go to room 1047. All right, this is just my first check of will this room work. All right, next up I need to total or approximate. I'm just going to approximate how much cable I need. All right, cable comes in rolls of 1,000, those of you that priced it. And let's just say this will be my shortest length, and I'm just going to approximate. Are we okay with this? So here that's about what? The shortest distance is 1.5 centimeters. So the short is 15 feet. The longest, I'm writing this over here, is 105. Average of those two. So a 60 feet average. All right. And with my average, I'm just going to multiply it by the number of rooms in here. I'm just going to get an approximate value, right?
I was wondering about that. I thought we were going to have to do it to every room or something.
Yeah, when you get to the project, there are actually fewer rooms. And it's funny, this is more complicated than your project will be, just slightly though. The project, I would tend to do it to every room just because there's not that many rooms.
That's fine.
Okay? This top floor gets a little more complicated. There's obviously a lot more rooms here. And I told you you can pick an interior room. And honestly, I think if you pick one of these rooms in here, you would be okay. And so here I'm going to guess, what are we going to, it's probably up to here again. This is going to be 5 plus 4.5 is 9.5. Let's just eyeball over here. That's another 5. That one is, what was it, 5 goes to there. Might be a little further over here. So let's just do this one up to here. Looks like that was what? 5 plus, yeah, it's about 9. Let's go 0.75 centimeters. Was it 10 feet per centimeter? So we're about, let's just go about 100 feet to room 2074. All right? And then I would do the same thing and just average them, okay? So we'll note here, approximate is okay, but you need a good approximation. What actually ends up happening is someone else is going to put these cables in for you. Okay? You'll just call a company and they'll do this approximation trick. They're going to approximate how much wire they think they need. They'll bring in a little more than they think. You know, maybe, you know, another 20-30% more. So we'll put here. And then they'll take the rest home with them. If you're wiring this yourself, you're going to have to order, we'll just put an exclamation mark there. You normally outsource this stuff. If you were going to wire this yourself, you would order enough to do that. And I'll have some in here. I haven't looked at what I got. But I'll have some in here that they actually calculated how much cable you need. You want to have more than enough to cover your whole room. Because this is just like, I don't know, you're making Thanksgiving dinner and you run out of stuff. You don't have to push that. Got a question?
I was wondering, for example, I've done some home repairs where it's like for tiling, they basically say you should, you know, measure your square footage and then do 20% extra for breakage. Was
Mhm.
there a industry standard, something like that suggestible? Like, you know, do your calculations, but add 10% or something like
I'd say
that?
20% is a good. It's not. There's no standard. I don't even think Tylers have a standard. Well,
Oh,
Tylers
well,
know they're going to break stuff.
Well, I know, yeah, it's a suggested.
Ours will be. I'll just put this. 20% will be plenty. It's as if you did a good approximation. Okay, and so if you went in and, you know, for example, let's see. So I'm computing my average based on these. If you had sort of what they, you know, a skewed distribution, you guys remember that from your thing? Where if I had, you know, maybe I'd put it, I don't know, here, and most of the rooms are really far away, then my average might not be the average of, you know, the true average of the building. And so what I need, you know, I need to have a good approximation. I'm just, you know, this is pretty close. Normally, again, you outsource it. So if I go over by 20, that means after I do this, I might buy, you know, 5 boxes of stuff, and I have 1 left over. You know, that's not very much money. Those are about 30 or 40, maybe $50 each, those big boxes. And there's plenty of wire in them. You all remember most of the cost of wiring is what? Labor, okay? So the labor is the money, and the extra cable is just not gonna kill you, okay? As far as connectors, I mean, you know the exact number. You wouldn't need to go 20% over. I might go 5 or 10% over on my connectors, just to be sure. The other thing to keep in mind, too, is when you get, so I've shown you the outlet plates. They have those little holes in them. So that's what goes in the rooms. A normal electric box fits behind them that goes in the wall, just the normal size. But coming out of here, you know, you have your cable. It's going to go into what's called a patch panel. I don't know if any of you all looked those up. But those have a whole bunch of ports on them. And this is what's going to be in this room here,
So basically
is
it's
this
not
patch
switch.
panel. It's not a switch. This is just where the wires come in. So it's not a switch yet. And then I have my switch down here. I'll put these in groups of 4. This will be the actual switch that connects all the stations or the hosts together. And I will have cables that run down here. You guys remember what we call these cables? This is called a patch panel. This cable is called a patch cable. So that's why this is a patch cable. In case you're interested, this one out here that goes to your desktop, this is actually called a station cable, but lots of funny stuff there. I get to write all over this, didn't I?
So what's the point of the switchboard?
This patch panel?
Or patch panel.
The point of the patch panel is you might have, I mean, what did we do here? 2 ports per room. I feel like I need to go to another color. There's two cords per room. And so, did you guys know how many rooms there were? Offhand. Let's say there's 300 rooms, and so I have 600 ports total. I'm not going to light them all up. So I may only have, let's say, 400 switch ports. Okay? So on my switch, I will normally, this is pretty normal, I'm not going to provide service to every single port in every single office. Some offices won't have anything in them, and some people will have 2 things in them. That's why I want, maybe 400. But most people are only going to have 1 port, and they're just going to use that one. And so, it costs you. So the building is wired completely. We want to make sure we sort of are future-proof on the building, because it's super expensive to put the cables in, right? And in terms of putting in these switches, this is only one, it's only going in one room. And so it's no problem to go, if I need more, I can buy more. But if I run out of, if I need 3 ports in some of these offices, then I got problems. Because I've got to run a new cable, call up the company, cost per trip, etc. Are we good here? The next thing I need to note is on the second floor room, and it just depends. I had we'll just put here. There's 2 kinds of rooms. Let me just flip this over. No. I note this. Oops. Can you zoom out just a little bit? Yeah. Can you zoom out a little bit more? I'm going to start using the normal stuff anyway. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stop. All right. A telecom closet is just a small room. It is literally a closet, like where it's a clothes closet. In a clothes closet, there's just enough room for the clothes and maybe enough room to walk around them. We'll just put enough room to squeeze around the equipment. Okay, this is a closet, it's small, right? So all I need is enough, I need to be able to get behind things, but it doesn't need to be big and pretty. There's not going to be a desk. There's not going to be any servers. And certainly not, there's not a desk. There's no PCs in here, okay? So a telecom closet is just going to be a small room. And if you want to know the actual places these are, the one is, which one is it? It's right here. There's one here. There's one over here. Actually, this room is one. And where are they downstairs? Downstairs, this one is the one. And where's the other one? There's got to be another one down here. Come on, where are you? It's probably over here, but I'm not sure. We'll have to ask the guy. All right. So the telecom closet are little small rooms, all right? That's what these are up here. They're just a little small room. You can barely get around in it. This room down here is actually pretty big, okay? This room is about, it's maybe not 10 by 10. It's but pretty close. It's about 100 square feet. Okay, this would be considered an equipment room. In a large building, they would actually call this a data center. Okay, this is where all the big equipment goes. Okay, so we're going to put servers. We're going to have our routers in here. We're going to have our connection to outside connection. So any of our WAN stuff is going to be in this room. There's also probably going to be a desk. It'll usually have a raised floor. Or we'll just put here a cool ceiling. Because we can just say cool, right? They have different kinds of ceilings where you can pop the panels out, or they have tracks in the ceiling to put the cables in, okay? But this is sort of the main room. And I've been calling some switches core. You guys remember that? So the core switch is here. Okay? And out here, this is work group. Okay. So just give you a sense of what goes on in just a slightly bigger organization. So that's how you get a building like this run. So that was fun, wasn't it? Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Remember to keep a ruler around. You guys need a ruler. You gotta have like one of these. And of course, I tell you keep this around, but I've had this for so long that I just wish I had another one.